everybody? Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report for you. This is a fun 2,000 point game versus me and my opponent Team 4 Dwarfman. This one is pretty brutal, so sit back, relax, and get ready to see the carnage. Here's my list, and there has been a little bit of changes. I have 877 points of characters, starting with the High Priest, Idameta, still at 460. He's my general. He's on the Bone Dragon, level 4 Wizard Illusion, Lore Familiar, Talisman of Protection, and the Flail of Skulls. I like the Flail of Skulls better than the Serpent Staff. It works better for me. Then, of course, Bernice, my other High Priest, is still in the list at 247 points. She's on her steed, level 4 wizard with necromancy. She's got the warding splint and the ruby ring of ruin. I dropped the scarab brooch just because I needed the points, and I think I can make it work with 12. And then, of course, I've got my mortuary priest baby mage at 170 points. He's my level 2 wizard with elementalism. He's my BSB. He's got the banner of desert winds because reserve move is broken, and he's got the amulet of the serpent because without it, there's really no point in taking him. My core consists of 664 points in total. I've got 29 skeleton archers for 145 points with hand weapons and war bows. 10 skeleton horse archers for 120 points with war bows and light armor. They've got hand weapons, but they should never use them. And of course, the stars of the show, 8 Ushapti at almost 400 points with great bows and a unit champion because I had 7 points. Rounding off the army a little bit is my special at 322 points in total, 2 Tomb Scorpions with the Terrors Below, and 3 Venerable Ushapti. I like the combat. I don't know if I like the unit. They've got great stats. That movement 4 bothers me. It bothers me a lot. In rare, for 135 points, I brought a Casket of Souls. I've heard a lot of people, a lot of Tomb King players were in S-Bot. They're talking about the Casket of Souls being really good, giving a 6-up ward, -1 to hit, the +1s to magic and bound items, with the exception of the Casket. On paper, it seems really good. I'm going to see if I can make it work for me. Here's my opponent's list. He was playing Wood Elves, and he goes by the screen name Team 4 Dwarfman. Yes, I've played him before. He has 765 points in characters. He's got his Glade Lord as his general. He's on a Great Stag with the Ogre Blade and the Talisman of Protection, as well as an Annoyance of Netlings and a Befuddlement of Mischiefs. His level 4 wizard is a Spell Weaver at 269. She's on a steed. Level 4 wizard with Battle Magic, Oaken Staff, and the Ruby Ring of Ruin. And then he's got a level 2 Spell Singer for 169 points on a steed with Battle Magic and the Deepwood Sphere. That thing is a pain in the ass. Making up his core at 554 points are 2 units of 10 Glade Guard with Hagbane tips and 2 units of Glade Riders, 7 of them with Hagbane tips as well. In special, at 620 points, he's got 6 War Dancers with a Blade Singer and a Musician, 6 Wild Riders with shields, 20 Wildwood Rangers, or Anti-Fear Causers, with full command shields and the Obsidian Lodestone, just 1. In rare, he's got 60 points dedicated towards his Great Eagle. It's a solid list for Wood Elves. Here are my spells. I took what I usually take for Idameta, Glittering Robes, Column of Crystal, the Miasma, and Spectral Doppelganger. Bernice ended up with Incantation of Desert Wind, Unquiet Spirits, Curse of Years, and Shadow Steed, which she'll never use. And, of course, Baby Mage got Incantation of Cursed Blades and Travel Mystical Pathways. Here are my opponent's spells. His Tree Singer got Fireball and Tree Singing, and his Spell Weaver got Fireball, Tree Singing, Pillar of Flame, and Arcane Urgency. Here's deployment, and I kind of went with a boxed-in type of deployment. I'm still not really sure what to do with the Casket of Souls. That's why it's behind the impassable terrain in my deployment zone. Really stupid positioning. I should have put it over on the right flank. I don't know what I was thinking. I've got to learn. It's not the Casket's fault. It's 100% mine. On my left flank there, though, I have my Horseman Archers with Bernice. The idea here was I saw his Glade Rider, so I thought, okay, if he puts his caster over there, I'm going to dedicate that unit to killing that unit so that I can get rid of his caster, because I don't like the Oaken Staff and I don't like the Deepwood Sphere because they're both devastating to my magic phase. That was the plan. He figured that out pretty quick, didn't put his caster in that unit, so I was like, fine. I'm going to start shifting them across the board the long ways with reserve move. Hopefully they'll be able to get there in a turn or two. My big thing of archers is right there in the middle, figuring anything that comes down to center is going to get 30 poison shots sent after them. I've got Itametigasi right there in the middle to shoot down the line, past the woods, and just try to get into combat with anything that he can. I've got the Venerable Ushapti there. I'm starting to think of them more as like a spell battery than anything else. I don't know how much longer they are for the list. I love the idea of them, but they're slow movement. They're movement 4. I know it's just an inch slower than the Ushapti, but it's weird that they're slow with everything else they got going for them. And then, of course, my Boshapti are over on the right. They're going to move up to the woods and block off that area. I know the Rangers are coming. I know the War Dancers are coming, so any shots I can put into them are going to help me out. On my opponent's side of the table, he's got Glade Riders on the left there, followed by Glade Guard, just doing their thing as far as I can tell. More Glade Riders and the Great Eagle behind the impassable terrain. The second unit of Glade Guards right next to him with the rest of his army on his right flank. It's gonna be a bloodbath. We roll off for turns, and I get to go first. This is top of 1 after movement, obviously. Bernice was able to bring one of the Scorpions onto the table, and he moves up just a little bit to put some pressure on the Glade Riders. The Horseman Archers move up. I did take the chance to cast Incantation of Desert Wind, which Bernice ended up taking a wound for because of the Deepwood Sphere. It was a calculated risk, but I needed her out of the woods and more towards the center of the table by the end of the turn. The Archers move up. I've got Incantation of Cursed Blades off on them because why not? Only the front rank is really going to be able to shoot at anything, but we'll see what happens. Itametigasi moves up and puts pressure on the right side there. I want him to be able to cast some spells and all that other good stuff just in case, but if he did move forward, I wanted to put that pressure on that threat because Ita is a force to be reckoned with. The Boshati move up right to the edge of the woods because that's all 5 inches will give me, and the Venerable move up 4 inches to offer their wounds as casting material for Ita and Baby Mage if required. That's really it. The only thing that really happens in the shooting phase that's worth noting is my archers shoot at the Glade Guard, kill 3, force the panic, and he runs. He was 1 inch shy of hitting the end of the board and being off the table. So not bad, not bad. At the end of the shooting phase, I do my reserve moves, and you can see the archers and Bernice move closer to the center like I had planned, and my archers move up as far as they can because it is Badonkadonk is in the way. With that, we go to bottom of turn 1, and here it is after movement. His Glade Riders on the left flank move up a little bit to throw stuff at, shoot their bows anyway at the Scorpion, which I totally expected. His Glade Guard turned to face the Scorpion because, yeah, that's their most viable threat right now. Makes sense. And on the right flank there, everything just kind of shifts over where Itametigasi is to kind of put pressure on him. The Rangers move up as well as the War Dancers like expected to put pressure on the Boshati. My plan here is to shift the Boshati towards the woods to shoot at the War Dancers, and then take their stand and shoot reaction to the Rangers when they inevitably charge. I'm going to try to cast Miasma on him. You'll see how that goes in a minute. But other than that, yeah, his caster just move around to really lay down some pain. So should be an interesting turn. In the shooting phase, his Glade Riders is level 4 and everything like that. Just throw everything at Itametigasi and get a single wound through, which I'm feeling really happy about. And then proceed to just outclass Itametigasi in the magic phase by getting not only the big tree singing off, but the Pillar of Flame as well. Was not thrilled about that. At the end of the shooting phase, he does his reserve moves, where his Glade Riders move on the right flank back behind the woods, so Ita can't charge them easily, if at all. And the other unit of Glade Riders go as far back into the corner as possible. He wasn't able to get around the Tomb Scorpion, thanks to clever plotting and planning by me. But yeah, he's far enough away where it's going to be a longer charge for the Scorpion, and he's going to get a stand and shoot reaction. But you know what? He didn't come here to watch, he came here to fight. Here's top of 2 after movement. The Pillar of Flame went through Itametigasi and the Archers. It didn't do anything at Itametigasi, but I think it dropped like 3 wounds off of the Archers. But with a Rise, I was able to heal Itametigasi as well as the 3 Archers. The Scorpion on the left flank there charged into the Glade Riders and made it. He did stand and shoot, wasn't able to wound him. My skeleton horse archers with Bernice moved up. I did not get Incantation of Desert Wind off because I didn't want to risk another sphere. She was able to heal the wound from the previous one. I just wasn't willing to risk it, so they just moved 8 inches, and I figured they'd give those Glade Guards something to think about. My archers did move up. They did go through the Pillar of Flame, so they took some dangerous terrain and passed. Idametigasi shot up. Before he moved, he did get Miasmic Mirage off on the Wildwood Rangers, which is huge, critically huge. So knowing that he was able to do that and get Glittering Robes back off on himself, he came up to where the woods were. While he was getting that off, he did let it go off, and he deep wood sphered Idametigasi. That's why he's got another wound on him. And Idametigasi ate one of the Venerable Ushapti in order to boost the casting of Miasmic Mirage. It was a critical spell to get off, so yay, I guess. The Venerable Ushapti did move up. They're feeling brave. I wasn't worried about the the Wild Riders charging them because it was a longer charge. I figured if he made it, it was destined for him to make it. The Boshati moved up into the woods a little bit more bravely now in order to shoot at the War Dancers because those guys need to die. I did put the Tomb Scorpion in there thinking that if he charged the Tomb Scorpion, it has a pretty good chance against them. Also, if they kill it and they overrun, the Boshati should be far enough away that it's not going to hit them. They don't have Swift Stride, so I was banking on some luck, and hopefully if they didn't, I could shoot at them again. And yeah, that's really it. The Casket of Souls is going to do nothing this game, so I kind of forget all about it. And Idametigasi moves up to put some real pressure on his back line there. I'm trying to corner him the best I can. In the shooting phase, the Boshati fire at the War Dancers. Not all of them can see because the Scorpion's in the way, but the ones that can shoot, and we're able to staple 3 of those bastards to the ground. My archers over here shot at the Rangers because it was the smartest thing for them to shoot at. With the woods in the way, I couldn't shoot at the Wildwood Riders. Not enough to make it worth shooting at them. So I fired at the Rangers. I believe I moved so only the front rank could shoot. And we were still able to kill 2 or 3. So that's really good. Not as good over here. I don't believe that Bernice was able to get the Ruby Ring of Ruin to go off and the Horseman archers shoot at the Glade Guard. And I think we killed 1, which is better than none, but I would have preferred 10. We go into combat, and we flub spectacularly. The Scorpion goes in. I think he hit twice, and then I rolled Snake Eyes to wound, which is exactly what I needed to roll in order to not do any damage. He attacks back. Luckily for me, he's not able to hurt him because he's toughness 5. With Stomps, I'm able to kill 1 Glade Rider, which means I win combat by 1. He did make his check, so we had to give ground, but he was like 1.7 inches away from the back of the board. So when he hit the back of the board, they scattered. The Scorpion was able to restrain and turn to face the Glade Guard. So, yeah, you know why you're seeing this screen. I screwed up. The game was getting pretty much, it was going to go one way or the other at this point. We were both really concentrating, and I completely forgot to take screenshots of the entire bottom of turn 2. There's just nothing there. So I apologize. Not a ton happened. There was a lot of maneuvering and stuff like that. Here, let me show you the top of turn 3 picture. That'll help. So here's what the turn looks like at the top of 3. And for the most part, his Pillar Flame, I wasn't able to dispel it. It kind of goes around. It did a little bit of damage to the Venerable Ushapti in the last turn. And then, of course, if you look at the top left there, the Tomb Scorpion got shot at a little bit. I don't think he did any wounds, but when he charged his turn and failed, he did do a couple of wounds to him. So the Tomb Scorpion's on his last leg, but we'll see what happens. On the right there, the Tomb Scorpion took some damage from the Glade Rider shooting, I believe. But he's all right. The Boshati and the Venerable got the Pillar of Flame tossed through him this turn as well. The Venerable, I believe, took a couple of wounds, and so there's only 1 left because I think I used him as a battery. And then, of course, the regular Boshati, they took a wound, and then they moved into the, or they moved back into the Pillar of Flame. I did lose 1 of their number, I believe. Not a big deal. I can bring him back. Baby Mage is in range, hopefully next turn. I wasn't able to get Miasmic Mirage off this time, but as you'll see, that's not as big of a deal as it seems. And in my turn moving around, the archers didn't move this time. The horseman archers with Bernice, they moved up. Bernice is going to try to unquiet spirit the Glade Guard and do some serious damage to the Wild Riders before they can do damage to me. Also, last turn, one of the biggest things that happened was the failed charges. The Wildwood Rangers failed their charge into the Boshati. The Wild Riders failed their charge into the venerable Ushapti, which was insane, and his Glade Lord was 11.7 inches away from Itametigasi and rolled an 11 total. We were dumbfounded. His dice were so bad. It was like I sabotaged him, and I promise I didn't. In this turn, though, Itametigasi wasn't stupid. He was going to charge a Glade Lord. Not because I intended to kill him in one round of combat, but because I figured, hey, I might as well get the charge off while I can, and charging into the Great Eagle to run into Wild Riders just gives his Glade Lord a free charge. So why give him all the extra combat res when it can just be him versus me? That's really it. I apologize again for missing the entirety of bottom of 2. In the shooting phase, the Horse Archers and Bernice are able to kill 2 of the Wild Riders because he started making his ward saves, which was unfortunate, but considering his dice rolls, I'm glad something went his way. In the shooting phase, the combined might of the Archers and the Boshati into the Rangers took them down to, 11 models total? It's still a devastatingly dangerous unit, but not as bad as the 20 it started off as. Bernice is able to get Unquiet Spirits off on the Glade Guard and kill 4 more of them, which was tremendous. This, of course, causes the panic check, and they fail, but they fall back in good order. So they end up right where you're seeing. He just missed touching the line for the board, so they do stay on the table. We go into combat, and I flub all of my attacks. My opponent rolls 4 attacks with that Ogre Blade, needing, I think, 2s to hit me, and misses all but 1. I think he wounded 1 time, and I think I either ward saved it or I regen saved it. I'm not sure which. But Itametigasi takes no wounds. He proceeds to flub his attacks. The dragon flubs his attacks because I need 6s to hit him. But it was stomps. Stomps are what saved me in the end. I did 4 wounds to him with stomps, and all 4 got through, killing his Glade Lord. Of course I overrun, slamming into his Glade Riders with both casters attached to it. I felt good about that. It wasn't expected. I totally didn't think I was going to win that combat, let alone kill him and be able to overrun. But the fact that I did and I was able to slam into this unit was a huge swing in my favor. Here's bottom of 3 after movement, and there's been some. His Wild Riders try to charge my Venerable Ushapti again and fail again. His Rangers try to charge my Boshati, which did back up a little bit, and fail again. I can't even tell you how bad his dice were when it came to rolling for charges. It was insane. His Great Eagle and his War Dancers charge into the Scorpion and make it, and his Glade Guard move around to shoot at the Tomb Scorpion. That is about it. We go straight into combat, and I believe his Great Eagle with the Serrated Maw just murders the Tomb Scorpion. He already had a wound on him anyway, but yeah, it does multiple wounds too, so just tore it to pieces. The Great Eagle does overrun and just clips the Boshati, so that's where he ends up. And the War Dancers were able to restrain and just stayed exactly where they were. I mean, they're skirmishers. It really doesn't matter which direction they're facing. We go to combat over here, and Itametigasi is able to get his Assailment spell off. He challenged with his Spell Singer. I, of course, had to accept, and I got my Assailment spell off, and I think, 8 wounds went through or something like that, 7. So I got the 5 plus the 2 wounds, 5 for overkill in a challenge, plus the 2 wounds that she had for a total of 7. Plus I had close order for a total of 8. He rolls it, he fails it, and they run off the table. I did pursue. I know I didn't have to. I just wanted to make sure because I like the narrative. But I only went 6 inches, which was not enough to take me off the table. So I just stand there like that. We go into top of turn 4 after movement, and the Scorpion in the left flank was able to charge a Glade Guard, and he makes it into him no problem. The Horse Archers with Bernice move up to put some more pain onto the Wild Riders. I do get Incantation of Desert Wind off on Bernice. I get Incantation of Cursed Blades off on the archers who did not move. I was able to heal the Boshati with Baby Mage. He was in range, and we used the Venerable Ushapti. Itamedagasi used him to get his Assailment spell off. So that's what it was. Killing off the unit, but honestly, they're a battery right now. I'm thinking of getting rid of them completely. The Boshati obviously didn't do anything because they're in combat with the Great Eagle, and that's... Oh, yeah, and Itamedagasi turned around to spit hot flame all over the War Dancers, because he does have a breath weapon. That's it for movement. In the shooting phase, Bernice and the Horse Archers are able to kill 2 of the Wild Riders, which isn't bad. We did a decent amount of wounds, but it just wasn't enough to finish off the unit. He was making his saves. However, the Skeleton Archers brought the Rangers down to 5 models, which was absolutely outstanding. Or so I thought. Over here, Badonkadonk spits hot death all over the War Dancers. I do end up hitting all 3, even though 1 was a partial, but only end up killing 1, which is better than none, so I'll take what I can get. We go into combat, and the Tomb Scorpion's able to just eviscerate the last 5. Between attacks and stomps, nothing's left alive, and then he overruns like 11 inches, stopping just shy of the impassable terrain. So he did really, really good this game. As did the Boshati. They take no wounds from the Eagle and put another 2 on him, almost killing him outright. He loses by 3. 2 wounds and close order, but it doesn't matter. He rolled way high, failed his check, and ended up falling back in good order off the table. Just, wow. The Boshati turn in place to look at the Wildwood Rangers, and yeah. they do get to stand and shoot. That's going to be their claim to fame. We go into bottom of turn 4. Here it is after movement. You're never going to believe this. I'm glad I got it on camera because no one's ever going to believe this. His Rangers failed their charge again. He was like 6.4 away. He needed a 7. He rolled like a 6. It was insane that he couldn't make these charges. I'm not joking. It's insane. It's insane. His War Dancers made it into the Boshati. The Boshati did stand and shoot at the Rangers and were able to kill 2 more of them. His Wild Riders charged my archers. They stood and shot, but they didn't kill any more of them, so they got in there. And he's going to try to murk the mage, which hurts my feelings a little bit. And that's really it for movement. We go straight into combat, because duh. And he does. One of his Wild Riders puts all their attacks into Baby Mage and wounds twice. Baby Mage makes both of his regens. So he gets the combat res, but Baby Mage stands back up. The other Wild Rider attacked the unit and was able to drop 1. In return, the unit was able to kill 1 Wild Rider. With 2 ranks and a kill to 2 wounds, he loses by 1. And yeah, he ends up giving ground, which makes sense. We do restrain, and then we turn to face him, because we're a lot better at shooting than close combat. We go to combat over here, and when I say his dice are against him, I truly, truly mean it. I think there was 1, I had 8 Boshati. He kills 1. He does 3 wounds. He kills 1, and then the remaining Boshati are able to finish off the last 2 War Dancers. His dice were terrible this game. They really were. So the Boshati are a little punch drunk, and we decide, screw it. Let's overrun and see if we can hit the Rangers. So, of course, we overrun and we hit the Rangers. Here's top of turn 5 after movement. I did try to send Itamedagasi into the rear of the War Dancers to just hedge my bets with the Ushapti, but I failed my charge, so awesome. Other than that, as you can see, the Horse Archers and Bernice kind of did a roundabout thing to make sure that Wild Rider dies. The Tomb Scorpion stays right where it's at, and the Casket of Souls did the same because it's been useless this entire game. I know it's not its fault. It's just different. I don't know if I want to keep it in the list either, because when I'm fighting armies that I have to go to, it's not going to help me. When I'm fighting armies that have to come to me, it will. I don't know. Maybe I'll give it another chance. I'm thinking a Screaming Skull Catapult or something like that. Anyway, that's the end of the movement. Rather than drag it out, Bernice just casts Unquiet Spirits on the Wild Rider and puts him into the ground hard. In combat with the Wildwood Rangers, they do 8 friggin' wounds to me. 3 guys left. 8 wounds. Thank God there was only 3 guys left. The return attacks, not everybody got to attack, but the ones that did were able to attack and kill the 3 of them. Wow. Wow, those things are dangerous. And that pretty much seals it. It's a tabling for the Wood Elves and a victory for Lord Tremendous. You know what? This game was excellent, and I'm excited to get into the recap. So let's get to it. Oh man, my poor opponent. The dice gods were on my team the entire game. It wasn't good. 3 critical failed charges. His general failing that charge, and his rangers failing multiple charges into Ushapti. If they had gotten a hold of him, it would have been over them a long time ago. They never should have survived as long as they did. Ida killing his Glade Lord in 1 round of combat. He rolled his 4 attacks with his Glade Lord, needing 2s because I didn't get Glittering Robe on, and he only hit once. It was like 3 1s and a 6. It was ridiculous. I mean, better lucky than good any day. It worked out great for me, but the fact that his dice were so bad. I mean, we've all been there. God knows I've been there. It's just, I hate it when I see it happen, no matter who it's to. I did enjoy killing the Spellsinger. Getting Ida into that unit of, what was it? Glade Riders, whatever there are. And then getting the challenge from the Spellsinger and decimating her, that felt good. Chasing the rest of them off the table felt really good. The Wood Elven spellcasters really irk me. Like I said, the Rangers didn't get a chance to shine in this game. The combat with the 1 rank of them tops, not even a full rank, and they still did 8, 9 wounds to the Ushapti. That's just how incredibly dangerous they are. I think there was 3 of them left, and they still dropped 8 wounds onto them. Yeah, I can't get in close combat with the Rangers if I can avoid it. They're way too dangerous. It was a good game. My opponent is still one of my favorites. It was just terrible dice. I mean, for him, mine were really, really good. To add to the Tithe of Bones, though, we got a lot. King Bubba Hotep will be pleased. We added another Glade Lord to the pyre. No new dragons, but we did add a Spellweaver and a Spellsinger to it. We'll take it. Yeah, because I know they ran off the table. Well, one of them did, but I count it. I'm sorry. We're going to collect their bones. In the core, we got 20 more Glade Guard, which felt really good. 14 more Glade Riders. In special, no more Sisters or Treekin. We did get 6 more Wild Riders. That's outstanding. No new Warhawk Riders, but we did add 20 Wildwood Rangers to the pile, and that's what I think the King is going to be most pleased about. Also, 6 War Dancers. Yeah, I'll take that. We only might send 4. I want a couple of those to, pretty up Badonkadonk a little bit. And then we added another Great Eagle in our rare choices. Tomb Kings, we obviously didn't add anything to that. And then, of course, my Demons list is going to stay the same. And that's it. Another battle report is in the history books. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. And as always, thanks!